The night I found Lily, rain hammered my windshield so hard I could barely see the road. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel and sighed. Sarah, I wish you were here, I whispered. 3 years had passed since my wife died, but some nights still felt impossible. When I finally pulled into our neighborhood, my phone rang. Dad, where are you? Noah asked. I'm 5 minutes away. You said that 10 minutes ago. I laughed softly. The storm is slowing everyone down. Did you get pizza? No. A dramatic groan came through the phone. Then this is the worst day ever. I'll survive your disappointment. No, Dad. I'll survive yours. For the first time all day, I smiled. Then I saw something. A small figure sat beneath a bridge near the road. First, I thought I was imagining it. I slowed down. The figure didn't move. My stomach tightened. No, I have to go. What? I'll explain later. I ended the call and pulled over. Rain soaked my jacket the moment I stepped outside. I walked toward the bridge. Hello. I called. No answer. I moved closer. A little girl sat against a concrete wall. She looked about 8 years old. Her clothes were wet. Her hands trembled. Her eyes widened when she saw me. It's okay, I said. She immediately tried to back away. I'm not going to hurt you. Silence. Are your parents nearby? Nothing. Do you have somewhere to go? She lowered her head. That answer hurt more than words. I crouched down. My name is Ethan. She stared at me. What about you? Several seconds passed. Then she whispered, Lily. Her voice was so quiet I almost missed it. Lily, are you hungry? She hesitated before nodding. When did you last eat? No response. I didn't need one. The answer was obvious. I opened my wallet. Only $23. Payday was still 3 days away. I almost laughed at the irony. I could barely afford groceries for Noah and me. Now, I was standing in the rain, trying to help a stranger. Sarah would have done it without hesitation. That thought settled the argument in my head. Come on, I said. She looked nervous. Where? My home. Her eyes narrowed. What? Because nobody had asked me that in a long time, I answered honestly. Because somebody should. For a moment, I thought she would run. Then she slowly stood. The drive home was silent. Lily sat in the back seat and stared out the window. When we arrived, Noah opened the front door before I reached it. Dad! Then he noticed Lily. His smile disappeared. Who's that? A guest. A guest. Just for tonight. Noah folded his arms. Why? Lily needed help. He looked at her. She looked at the ground. Is she staying in my room? No. Is she taking my stuff? No. Is she replacing me? The question hit me like a punch. I knelt in front of him. Nobody could ever replace you. Promise. I promise. He studied my face. Finally, he nodded. Inside, I handed Lily a towel. You can dry off. She accepted it carefully. Thank you. Those are the first words she had spoken since getting in the car. Noah watched her. Lily watched the floor. The silence became awkward. Then Noah sighed. You can have the last hot chocolate. Lily blinked. Really? Yeah. Why? Noah shrugged. Because Dad always says people should help each other. I felt my throat tighten. For a second, I saw Sarah in him. Lily looked at me, then at Noah. Her eyes filled with tears. She quickly wiped them away. That night, after both children fell asleep, I sat alone in the kitchen. I had no idea how I would afford another mouth to feed. I had no idea what tomorrow would bring. But deep inside, I knew one thing. The little girl under that bridge had just changed my life forever. The first few months after bringing Lily home were harder than I expected. Every morning felt like walking through a minefield. One evening, I found several bread rolls hidden under Lily's bed. I held them up gently. Lily, why are these here? Her shoulders tensed. I was saving them. For what? In case there isn't food tomorrow. My chest tightened. Lily, nobody here is going hungry. She stared at the floor. You don't know that. I knelt beside her. Listen to me. As long as I'm here, you'll eat. She didn't answer, but she didn't look away either. That felt like progress. A week later, I woke up to a scream. I rushed into her room. Lily. She sat upright in bed, shaking. Her face was covered in tears. It's okay, I said. No. Her voice cracked. They'll come back. Boo. She hugged her knees. I don't want to talk about it. I sat beside her bed. You don't have to. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. Eventually, she whispered, Can you leave the light on? Of course. That night, I left her door slightly open. The next morning, Noah cornered me in the kitchen. You spend more time with her than me. I sighed. Noah, it's true. It isn't. You always check on her. Because she's struggling. What about me? The hurt in his voice stopped me cold. I crouched beside him. Do you think I love you less? He hesitated. I don't know. My heart broke. Nothing could change how much I love you. Then why does it feel different? Because he deserved an honest answer. I gave him one. Because she's scared all the time. He looked toward the hallway. She's weird. She's hurting. Same thing. I couldn't help smiling. No, buddy. It isn't. That evening, I made a decision. We were eating dinner when I spoke up. Family game night. Noah groaned. Lily looked confused. What does that mean? It means we're playing board games. Why? Because that's what families do. The word family hung in the air. Lily froze. Noah rolled his eyes. 2 hours later, they were arguing over game rules. You're cheating, Noah said. I'm not. You totally are. Prove it. I leaned back and smiled. For the first time, they sounded like brother and sister. The months continued. Some days were good. Others weren't. Money became a constant problem. One afternoon, my boss called me into his office. Victor Reynolds folded his hands. You've been distracted lately, Ethan. I already knew where the conversation was going. I'm doing my best. Your best used to be better. I clenched my jaw. My situation at home is complicated. Everyone has problems. His tone remained cold. This company needs results. I understand. Do you? He slid a report across the desk. Several missed deadlines stared back at me. If this continues, you'll become a liability. The word hit hard. Liability. Not employee. Not father. Not person. Just liability. I'll fix it. Victor nodded. You'd better. I drove home, feeling exhausted. The bills were piling up. Work was getting worse. The future felt uncertain. When I opened the front door, Noah and Lily sat at the kitchen table. What are you two doing? Noah pointed at a science project. We have to build a bridge. It keeps collapsing, Lily said. I set down my briefcase. Let's see. For the next hour, we worked together. Noah taped pieces together. Lily adjusted the design. I offered suggestions. When the bridge finally stood upright, both kids cheered. We did it, Noah shouted. Lily smiled. A real smile. Not a polite one. Not a nervous one. A genuine smile. That moment alone felt worth every struggle that a few weeks later, I was washing dishes when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around. Lily stood there holding a school paper. I got an A. That's amazing. She smiled shyly. I wanted to show you first. I felt strangely emotional. I'm proud of you. She looked down at the paper. Then she looked back at me. For a second, she seemed nervous, like she was preparing to jump off a cliff. Then she quietly spoke. Thank you, Dad. The word hit me harder than I expected that I couldn't speak for a moment. Nobody had prepared me for how much that single word would mean. Finally, I smiled. You're welcome, kiddo. She smiled back. And in that simple moment, despite the nightmares, the arguments, the bills, and the uncertainty, I realized something important. We weren't three broken people living in the same house anymore. We were becoming a family. The years passed faster than I expected. One day, I was helping Noah and Lily with elementary school homework. The next, there were teenagers arguing about college applications. One evening, Lily rushed into the kitchen holding a letter. Dad, look! I took the envelope. Her hands were shaking with excitement. What is it? I got accepted into the National Leadership Program. That's incredible. She threw her arms around me. I knew I could do it. You worked hard for it. Noah leaned over my shoulder. Is it expensive? Lily's smile faded. A silence filled the room. Finally, she said, a little. How little? Noah asked. Lily named the amount. My stomach dropped. I smiled anyway. We'll figure it out. That night, after everyone went to bed, I stared at my bank account. The numbers weren't encouraging. The next morning, I opened a small wooden box in my closet. Inside was Sarah's jewelry. I picked up her wedding necklace. For several minutes, I simply held it. I hope you'd understand, I whispered. A week later, the necklace was gone. Lily never knew where the money came from. Neither did Noah. Months passed. Then another opportunity arrived. A summer program. Another fee. Another impossible bill. I sat with my friend Marcus at a diner. This can't continue, he said. I know. You need to think about yourself. I laughed. That's not really my specialty. Ethan, you're selling everything. I'm investing in my kids. Marcus shook his head. One day they'll find out. I looked away. Maybe. Back home, Lily was studying at the kitchen table. She looked exhausted. Take a break. I can't. Why not? Because everyone else is working hard. I smiled. You're allowed to breathe. She pointed at her books. I want to earn my future. The words made me strangely emotional. She truly believed she was building everything alone. Part of me wanted to tell her the truth. The other part didn't want her carrying that burden. A few months later, Victor Reynolds called me into his office. Ethan, I have good news. I sat down. Victor slid a folder across his desk. A promotion. I blinked. Seriously? You've earned it. For a moment, I felt hopeful. Then Victor continued. You need to relocate. My excitement disappeared. Where? Chicago. I already knew my answer. No. Victor frowned. You're refusing a major opportunity? My children are here. Ethan, this could change your life. I thought about Noah. I thought about Lily. Then I shook my head. My decision is final. Victor looked disappointed. I left his office wondering if I had made a mistake. That evening, no one noticed my mood. What happened? Nothing important. He narrowed his eyes. That's usually code for something important. I laughed. I turned down a promotion. Why? Because it required moving. Noah stared at me. You did that for us. I shrugged. We're a package deal. He smiled. You're weird. I've heard that before. What I didn't know was that bigger problems were already forming. Victor's son, Jason Reynolds, had recently joined the company. At first, he seemed friendly, then strange things started happening. One afternoon, I walked into a meeting room. Jason was presenting a proposal. My proposal. Every slide contained ideas I had developed. When the meeting ended, I followed him into the hallway. We need to talk. He smirked. About what? You know exactly what. No, I don't. Those are my ideas. Jason shrugged. Can you prove that? I felt anger rise in my chest. You took my work. He leaned closer. Welcome to the corporate world. The next day, I met with Victor. Your son is stealing my projects. Victor immediately frowned. Be careful, Ethan. I'm serious. Jason told me you were becoming difficult. I stared at him in disbelief. You're taking his side? He's my son. The answer told me everything. I left the office feeling trapped. At home, Lily rushed into the living room. Dad, guess what? I forced a smile. What happened? I got selected for another leadership conference. That's amazing. She grinned. I knew hard work would pay off. The words hit harder than she realized. I looked at her proud face. I looked at the acceptance letter in her hands. Then I swallowed the truth once again. Yes, I said softly. It does. That night, I sat alone at the kitchen table. Lily believed her success came entirely from her effort. Jason was taking credit for my work. Victor refused to listen. The sacrifices kept growing. And for the first time in years, I wondered how long I could keep carrying everything alone. The day Lily graduated from college felt like one of the happiest days of my life. I sat beside Noah in the audience and watched her walk across the stage. When her name was called, I stood first. That's my sister, Noah shouted proudly. People around us laughed. I didn't care. My eyes filled with tears. After the ceremony, Lily hugged me tightly. We did it. I smiled. No, you did it. She shook her head. You helped. If only she knew how much. A week later, she rushed into the house holding another letter. Dad! I looked up from the couch. What happened now? I got an internship at Reynolds Technologies. For a moment, I couldn't speak. The same company where I had worked for nearly 15 years. The same company where I had sacrificed so much. I finally smiled. I'm proud of you. She hugged me again. Thank you. Noah grinned. Looks like you're becoming important. Lily laughed. Not yet. I had no idea that our lives were about to change. 3 weeks into her internship, Victor called an emergency executive meeting. The atmosphere felt tense. Something was wrong. Victor stood at the front of the room. Beside him stood Jason. Victor's expression was cold. We have discovered serious financial discrepancies. People exchanged nervous glances. My stomach tightened. Then Victor looked directly at me. Ethan, explain these transactions. Several documents appeared on the screen. I stared at them. What is this? The records you approved. I never approved those. Jason folded his arms. The authorization carries your credentials. I looked closer. My credentials were there, but something felt wrong. This has been manipulated. Victor's face darkened. Are you denying responsibility? Yes. Jason sighed dramatically. This is exactly what I warned you about. I turned toward him. You warned them. Several times. The lie was so bold that I almost laughed. Instead, I felt sick. Victor, you know me. I thought I did. The room became silent. For 15 years, I had given everything to that company. Late nights, missed holidays, sacrificed opportunities, and now nobody was willing to listen. Victor closed the folder. You're terminated effective immediately. The words hit harder than I expected. That's it. The decision is final. I looked around the room. Nobody spoke. Nobody defended me. Not even one person. I slowly stood. After 15 years, Victor looked away. Security will escort you out. I felt something inside me break. That evening, I sat alone in my car for nearly an hour before driving home. When I finally walked through the front door, Lily immediately noticed. Dad, I forced a smile. Hey, what happened? Noah looked up from the kitchen table. You look terrible. I sat down heavily. I lost my job. Silence. Lily blinked. What? Victor fired me. Why? I hesitated. Then I told them. The room grew quiet. Finally, Lily spoke. The financial records were real. I didn't create them, but they existed. Yes. She looked confused. Then how did this happen? I don't know yet. For the first time, I saw doubt in her eyes. The sight hurt more than losing my career. A few days later, things became worse. Lily came home from work looking troubled. Can we talk? My chest tightened. Of course. She sat across from me. I heard some things. What things? People at the company say this wasn't the first mistake. I stared at her. Do you believe that? I don't know what to believe. The answer felt like a knife. Lily, I'm trying to understand. I would never do something like that. She looked away. Then why is everyone saying it? Because lies are easier to believe than truth. But I couldn't say that. Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. Noah opened it. A woman stood outside. The moment Lily saw her, she froze. Rachel. The woman smiled. Hello, sweetheart. I immediately recognized the name. Rachel Dawson, the aunt who had abandoned Lily years ago. Lily looked shocked. What are you doing here? I wanted to reconnect. Something about her smile made me uneasy. Over the following weeks, Rachel appeared constantly. Phone calls, lunches, visits. Slowly, I noticed changes. Lily became distant, reserved, careful. One evening, I overheard part of a conversation. Rachel's voice carried from the hallway. People aren't always who they seem. Rachel, I'm just saying you should ask questions. My stomach sank. Later that night, I confronted Lily. Is Rachel talking about me? She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. I'm only trying to understand my past. By listening to someone who abandoned you, her expression hardened. At least she's being honest. The word struck like a punch. I stared at her. Oh, you think I'm dishonest? I don't know anymore. For several seconds, I couldn't speak. The little girl I had found beneath a bridge. The daughter I had loved for years. The child I had sacrificed everything for. She doubted me. After she walked away, Noah sat beside me. Dad? I rubbed my eyes. Yeah. She's wrong. I nodded slowly, but the damage was already done. For the first time since bringing Lily home, I felt completely alone. My career was gone. My reputation was destroyed. And the family I'd spent years building was beginning to fall apart right in front of me. A month after losing my job, I packed my belongings and left the house. The decision wasn't forced. It simply felt necessary. The tension had become unbearable. Every conversation with Lily ended in silence. Every attempt to explain myself ended in doubt. Noah helped carry boxes to my truck. This is stupid, he muttered. That I forced a smile. Maybe. No, definitely. I laughed softly. You always were honest. He crossed his arms. You're not the one who should be leaving. Sometimes walking away is easier. No. His voice sharpened. Sometimes people leave because they're hurt. I looked at him carefully. Where did you get so smart? Probably from you. that almost made me emotional. I pulled him into a hug. Take care of yourself. You too. Then his expression hardened. And don't give up. I nodded. I won't. The apartment I rented was small. One bedroom, old furniture, thin walls. But it was quiet. For the first time in years, I was completely alone. At first, the silence felt peaceful. Then it started feeling empty. Weeks passed. Lily rarely called. When she did, conversation stayed short. How are you? She would ask. I'm fine. Good. Then silence. Neither of us knew what to say anymore. One evening, Marcus Bell showed up carrying pizza. You look terrible. Nice to see you too. I'm serious. He dropped the pizza box on my table. You've spent your entire life taking care of everyone else. I shrugged. They needed me. And who takes care of you? I didn't have an answer. Marcus pointed at me. That's the problem. I laughed. You came here just to insult me. I came here because you're disappearing. His words lingered long after he left. The next morning, I stare at my reflection. Maybe Marcus was right. For years, my entire identity had revolved around being useful. A husband, a father, an employee, a provider. Without those roles, I didn't know who I was. That realization scared me. A week later, Marcus called again. I found something. What? A consulting project. I blinked. Consulting? You practically built half the systems at Reynolds. I laughed bitterly. Apparently, they disagree. Marcus ignored that. Take the meeting. Against my instincts, I agreed. The meeting lasted 2 hours. At the end, the client smiled. We'd like to hire you. I stared at him. Really? Your recommendations solve problems we've been fighting for months. For the first time in a long while, I felt something unfamiliar. Pride. Not because someone needed me. Because I was actually good at something. The projects slowly increased. One client became 2. Then 3. My confidence began returning. Meanwhile, strange things were happening inside Reynolds Technologies. One afternoon, Noah called me. Have you talked to Lily? Not recently. Something's bothering her. I frowned. What do you mean? She keeps asking questions about old company records. My pulse quickened. What kind of questions? She didn't say. The call ended, but my thoughts kept racing. 2 weeks later, Lily unexpectedly called. Can I ask you something? Of course. Her voice sounded uncertain. When you worked on the Horizon project, who approved the final reports? The question surprised me. I did. Personally? Yes. A pause followed. Then she quietly asked, did Jason contribute much? I immediately understood. No. Silence. What happened? Nothing. Lily. Another pause. I found inconsistencies. My heart skipped. What kind? I don't know yet. The uncertainty in her voice told me she was beginning to see cracks. Small ones, but cracks nonetheless. After he hung up, I sat quietly for several minutes. The truth was getting closer. Not because I was chasing it, because lies eventually collapse under their own weight. A few days later, Noah visited my apartment. He looked excited. What happened? He sat down. Lily's been reviewing old records every night. I tried not to react. Really? She's obsessed. I nodded slowly. For the first time in months, hope appeared. Not hope that my reputation would recover. Not hope that I get my old job back. Something more important. Hope that Lily might finally discover the truth herself. And when that day came, nobody would be able to convince her otherwise. The distance between us still felt enormous. The pain still existed. But somewhere beneath the lies, the truth was moving closer. Even if Lily wasn't ready to face it yet. 3 months after moving into my apartment, my phone started ringing more often. Most calls came from former coworkers. At first, I ignored them. Then Marcus called. Have you seen the news? What news? Reynolds Technologies is being audited. I sat upright. Audited. Someone found financial irregularities. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Marcus laughed. Looks like somebody finally started digging. After the call ended, I tried not to think about it. The truth would come out eventually. Whether it helped me or not was another question. 2 days later, Noah called. His voice sounded strange. Dad, what happened? You need to answer your phone if Lily calls. I frowned. What? Just trust me. Before I could ask another question, he ended the call. The next evening, my phone rang. Lily, I stared at the screen. Then answered. Hello. For several seconds, she didn't speak. Lily. Her voice finally emerged. I found something. I remained silent. Old company files. My heart started beating faster. What kind of files? The Horizon Project. I closed my eyes. Of all the projects. That one. I see. Her voice trembled. The original drafts had your name on them. I didn't answer. The final versions had Jason's. Still, I stayed silent. Then she whispered something that hurt. Why didn't you tell me? I laughed softly. Would you have believed me? The silence that followed gave me my answer. No. Her voice cracked. I wouldn't have. After the call ended, I sat alone in my apartment. The truth was finally reaching her. But it wasn't over. Not even close. The following week, another call came. This time from someone unexpected. Mr. Carter? Yes. My name is Olivia Grant. I recognized the name immediately. She was one of Reynolds Technologies' senior executives. What can I do for you? I think you deserve to know what's happening. I leaned forward. I'm listening. The audit uncovered extensive fraud. My stomach tightened. How extensive? Years. I wasn't surprised. Olivia continued. Lily has been reviewing records almost non-stop. I closed my eyes. That sounded exactly like her. She's finding things. What things? Proof. The word hung in the air. Then Olivia added something unexpected. She also discovered personal expense records. I frowned. What records? The educational payments. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. My mind immediately went to Sarah's necklace. The sold possessions. The sacrifices. How? The payments were traced. I rubbed my forehead. She wasn't supposed to know. Olivia sighed. She knows now. The call ended shortly afterward. That night, I barely slept. Not because I feared the truth. Because I feared Lily's reaction. The next afternoon, Noah arrived at my apartment. He looked worried. Have you talked to her? No. He sat down. She's devastated. I stared at him. What happened? She found everything. What does everything mean? His expression darkened. The conferences. I looked away. The leadership program. Silence. The college expenses. I swallowed hard. Noah shook his head. She didn't know. I never wanted her to. Why? Because those sacrifices were my choice. Noah looked emotional. She cried for hours. My chest tightened painfully. That evening, Lily finally called again. The moment I answered, I heard her crying. Dad, the word nearly broke me. Lily, I'm sorry. I closed my eyes. She continued speaking. I found the records. I remained silent. The jewelry sales. My throat tightened. The canceled promotion. I lowered my head. The transfers. Each sentence sounded heavier than the last. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you focused on your future. Her sobs became louder. And I doubted you. I couldn't answer. Because hearing her say it hurt more than I expected. A day later, Noah called again. Rachel is gone. What? Lily confronted her. I sat up. What happened? Noah sighed. Everything came out. Apparently, Lily had demanded answers. Rachel eventually admitted she had repeated rumors without verifying anything. Worse, she admitted enjoying the attention she received from being involved in the family drama. The damage she caused suddenly became impossible to deny. By the end of the week, Reynolds Technologies was collapsing into chaos. More fraudulent records surfaced. More executives faced investigations. More secrets emerged. Victor's reputation crumbled with each passing day. Jason disappeared from public view. For years, they had controlled the narrative. For years, they had hidden behind power. Now the truth was exposing everything. And for the first time since losing my job, I wasn't chasing justice anymore. Justice was finally finding them on its own. The weeks after the audit felt like watching a storm destroy everything in its path. Every day brought new headlines. Every day revealed another secret. One morning, Marcus walked into my office carrying coffee. You've seen the news? I nodded. Jason is gone. Marcus laughed. Removed by the board. I leaned back in my chair. And Victor resigned yesterday. For a moment, neither of us spoke. 15 years. That was how long Victor had controlled the company. Now it was falling apart. Marcus smiled. Funny how things work out. I stared out the window. It doesn't feel funny. No. Because despite everything, I still remembered the company before the corruption that I remembered what it used to be. The next call came from Noah. You should hear what's happening inside Reynolds. What now? The board is panicking. I frowned. Why? Major clients are threatening to leave. That didn't surprise me. Trust disappears quickly. Rebuilding it takes years. A few days later, Lily called. Her voice sounded exhausted. Haven't slept much? She laughed softly. Is it that obvious? A little. I've been working nonstop. What happened? The company is bleeding contracts. I listened quietly. Then she continued. Someone has to fix it. The determination in her voice reminded me of Sarah. And that thought made me smile. Over the next month, I heard more stories. Not from Lily. From Noah. Apparently, she had become one of the few people employees still trusted. One evening, Noah called again. You won't believe this. What? Lily stood up during a board meeting. I smiled. That sounds dangerous. It gets better. What happened? She presented a recovery plan. I sat forward. And people actually listened. That didn't surprise me. Lily had always been capable. The problem was that she rarely saw herself. A week later, my phone rang. This time, it was Olivia Grant. Mr. Carter. Olivia, I thought you'd want an update. I smiled. I'm listening. Her tone carried genuine admiration. Lily saved 2 major contracts. I blinked. Already, she personally negotiated both. Pride filled my chest. But Olivia wasn't finished. Employee confidence is increasing too. That's good. People are following her. I leaned back quietly. The little girl beneath the bridge felt very far away. And yet somehow she was still there. The same courage. The same stubborn determination. Just stronger now. A few days later, another name entered the story. Daniel Pierce. A senior board member and, according to Noah, a difficult man. What does he want? Noah sighed. He thinks Lily is too inexperienced. I laughed. That's predictable. It gets worse. Ow. He keeps fighting every proposal she makes. That bothered me. Not because criticism was unfair. Because I knew exactly how difficult leadership becomes when people refuse to listen. 2 weeks later, Lily finally visited my office. The moment she sat down, I noticed how tired she looked. Tough week. She laughed. Tough month. I handed her a bottle of water. Tell me. She shook her head. I don't want to burden you. Lily. She smiled weakly. Daniel Pierce wants me gone. What? He says leadership requires experience. And what do you think? She stared at me. For several seconds, she didn't answer. Then she quietly said something unexpected. I think leadership means helping people. The words stopped me cold. Because they sounded familiar. Very familiar. Where did you learn that? A small smile appeared. You. I looked away for a moment. Emotion tightened my throat. Lily continued. Not college. I remained silent. Not business school. She lowered her eyes. Not the company. The room grew quiet. Then she whispered the words I never expected to hear. Everything important came from you. For a moment, neither of us spoke. A week later, another headline appeared. Chairman Henry Collins publicly praised Lily's leadership. Investors applauded her recovery strategy. Employees supported her decisions. Even critics began changing their opinions. The company wasn't saved yet, but it was finally moving forward. That evening, Noah called. You sound happy. I smiled. Maybe I am. I think Lily is planning something. I frowned. What kind of something? I don't know. His voice became softer. But she's been asking a lot about you. After the call ended, I sat alone in my office. The company was recovering. The truth had finally emerged. And for the first time, Lily truly understood where her strength came from. The question now wasn't whether she knew the truth. The question was what she planned to do with it. 6 months after starting my consulting business, life finally felt stable. Not perfect, not easy, but stable. My client list was growing. The bills were paid. For the first time in years, I wasn't constantly worried about survival. That morning began like every other. I arrived early, reviewed reports, answered emails, drank terrible coffee. Around 10 o'clock, my assistant knocked on the door. Ethan, I looked up. Yeah. You have a visitor. I frowned. Do I know them? She smiled strangely. I think so. Before I could ask another question, She stepped aside. Then the door opened, and I froze. Lily stood there. For a moment, I couldn't process what I was seeing. She wore a dark business suit. A company badge hung from her jacket. My eyes immediately found the title. Chief Executive Officer. CEO. I stared at it. Then at her. Then back at the badge. The little girl from beneath the bridge. The child who used to hide bread under her bed. The teenager who stayed up all night studying. Now she was standing in my office as CEO of Reynolds Technologies. Neither of us spoke. Finally, I managed a smile. That's a pretty impressive title. Her eyes immediately filled with tears. The smile vanished from her face. And suddenly she looked less like a CEO and more like my daughter. Dad. The word barely escaped her lips. I slowly stood. She took one step forward, then another. Then she started crying. Not polite tears. Not controlled tears. The kind that come from carrying guilt for too long. I'm sorry. I remained silent. She wiped her face. I'm so sorry. My chest tightened. Lily, no. She shook her head. Please let me say it. I nodded. Her voice trembled. I doubted you. I looked away. I accused you. The memories returned instantly. Every painful conversation. Every cold silence. Every moment she chose someone else's words over mine. Tears ran down her cheeks. I believe lies. I swallowed hard. I know. She took another step forward. I abandoned you. That one hurt the most. Because it was true. For a moment, the room became silent. Then she whispered, "How did you forgive me?" I laughed softly. I haven't figured that out yet. She looked shocked, then embarrassed, then ashamed. I deserve that. I rubbed my forehead. No, you deserve honesty. She lowered her eyes. I don't know how to fix this. Neither did I. The truth had finally come out. But truth doesn't erase pain. It simply explains it. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then I asked the question I had carried for months. When did you stop trusting me? She closed her eyes. The question clearly hurt. I don't know. Try. A tear slid down her cheek. I think I stopped trusting myself first. I frowned. What does that mean? She sat down slowly. I wanted answers. I listened quietly. Then people gave me answers. Rachel. She nodded. Jason. Another nod. The company. Her shoulders shook. And eventually it became easier to believe everyone else. The honesty caught me off guard that I continued reading. Every contribution I had made. Every stolen project. Every false accusation. Everything had been documented. Corrected. Publicly acknowledged. I looked up. You did this? She nodded. It was the right thing. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Not because of the document. Because of what it represented. Responsibility. Growth. Courage. The same values I tried to teach her for years. Then she whispered something that finally broke me. You saved my life. I looked away. You gave me a family. My throat tightened. You gave me opportunities that I felt tears forming. And I repaid you with doubt. I stood. Before she could say another word, I pulled her into a hug. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. We simply stood there. Years of pain. Years of regret. Years of misunderstanding. Slowly falling away. When we finally stepped apart, she laughed through her tears. I probably looked terrible. I smiled. You definitely do. She laughed harder. And for the first time in a very long time, it felt like my daughter had finally come home. A month after Lily visited my office, Reynolds Technologies released its official statement. The response was immediate. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Former coworkers called. Old clients called. Even people I hadn't spoken to in years called. One former manager sounded embarrassed. Ethan, I owe you an apology. I smiled sadly. You're not the only one. We should have questioned the accusations. Maybe. No. His voice hardened. We failed you. After the call ended, another began. Then another. And another. For years, people had believed a lie. Now, they were finally learning the truth that a week later, Lily invited me to company headquarters. You should come. Why? Because some people want to see you. I wasn't excited about that idea. Still, I agreed. The moment I entered the building, conversation stopped. Employees turned toward me. For a second, the attention felt uncomfortable. Then someone approached. I owe you an apology. Another person followed. So do I. Then another. And another. The experience felt surreal. People who once avoided me now wanted to shake my hand. I appreciated the apologies, but something else mattered more. Lily, because every step she took to correct the truth required courage. That evening, Noah invited both of us to dinner. When I arrived, he pointed at the empty chairs. "Sit down." I laughed. "Giving orders now? Somebody has to." Lily smiled. The smile looked genuine, comfortable, familiar. During dinner, conversations flowed naturally again. Not perfectly, not effortlessly, but naturally. At one point, Noah raised his glass to finally acting like a family again. We laughed, then quietly toasted. After dinner, Lily stayed behind. "There's something I want to show you." "What is it?" She handed me a folder. I opened it, then blinked. "A foundation?" She nodded. I continued reading. My hands slowly tightened around the papers. The foundation focused on helping homeless children, emergency shelter, education support, mentorship programs, everything designed to create second chances. I looked up. Lily, her eyes filled with emotion. I named it after Mom. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Sarah. Even after all these years, hearing her name still affected me. Lily smiled softly. The Sarah Carter Foundation. I lowered my eyes. She would have loved this. I hope so. Then she added something that nearly broke me. It started because of that bridge. I immediately knew what she meant. The rainy night. The frightened little girl. The choice that changed everything. Lily wiped away tears. If you hadn't stopped that night, none of this would exist. I shook my head. You built this. No. She smiled. You gave me the chance. Several weeks later, the foundation officially launched. The response exceeded expectations. Donations arrived from everywhere. Volunteers joined. Programs expanded. People connected deeply with the mission. One afternoon, I visited a shelter supported by the foundation. Children filled the hallways. Some laughed. Some studied. Some simply looked safe. As I watched them, Lily walked beside me. Pretty incredible, isn't it? I nodded. It is. For a moment, we stood quietly. Then she looked at me. Thank you. I smiled. For what? For never giving up on me. Emotion tightened my chest. Because there have been moments when giving up would have been easier. But family doesn't work that way. Family survives mistakes. Family survives pain. Family survives disappointment. As months passed, trust slowly returned. Not because we ignored the past, because we faced it together. The wounds didn't disappear overnight, but they healed. Stronger than before, the family that once seemed broken beyond repair was finally finding its way back together. And this time, the bond felt stronger than anything lies had ever threatened to destroy. 5 years later, I stood outside a beautiful new building surrounded by hundreds of children. A large sign stretched across the entrance. Sarah Carter Youth Center. For several seconds, I simply stared at it. The journey from that rainy night beneath the bridge to this moment felt almost impossible to believe. Noah stepped beside me. You look emotional. I laughed softly. A little. He shook his head. Your eyes are already watering. I smiled. Don't tell anyone. Too late. Before I could respond, Lily approached. She wore the same confident expression she carried into every boardroom. Yet whenever she looked at me, I still saw the little girl I had brought home years ago. You ready? I nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. She smiled. Good. People slowly filled the ceremony area. Families, volunteers, donors, children. Everywhere I looked, I saw possibility.